Fatality.
This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Late last week, U.S., Egyptian, and Qatari mediators offered Hamas what the U.S. called a, quote, extraordinarily generous proposal approved by Israel. That would be a period of calm for 40 days. Hamas would release 33 hostages, the female, the elderly, and the infirm. Israel would release some 700 Palestinian detainees. And after those releases, Gazans would have freedom of movement within Gaza, and the two sides would discuss a permanent ceasefire and withdrawal of troops from Gaza. Now, early today, Hamas released a statement of its, quote, approval of an Egyptian and Qatari proposal regarding the ceasefire agreement. Israeli officials quickly told me that Hamas had not approved anything, or what it had approved was not the deal on the table. The reality is somewhere in the middle, William. U.S. officials confirmed that Hamas responded to the proposal, didn't accept anything. At the same time, their response is being called positive by regional officials that I speak to. We do not have the exact details of how Hamas is asking for the proposal to be changed. What we do know is that the Israeli War Cabinet has released a statement about what Hamas said today, and that statement is, quote, although the Hamas proposal is far from Israel's position, Israel will send a delegation of working-level mediators to exhaust the possibility of reaching an agreement under conditions acceptable to Israel. So Israel has neither accepted nor denied Hamas's proposal today, and so the negotiations continue.
So meanwhile, Israel has always been talking about going into Rafa. What is the latest on that?
The War Cabinet in that statement also said that it would continue military operations in Rafa to, quote, exert military pressure on Hamas. And there are early reports right now that, in fact, Israeli ground troops, including tanks, have crossed from Israel toward Rafa. Israeli officials tell me this is a, quote, targeted operation designed to keep the negotiations pressure on Hamas. This is not the Rafa operation that you and I and U.S. officials and Israeli officials have been talking about, that Israel says is required to kill the last 4 battalions of Hamas and its about a few thousand fighters that are part of that.
See, that's what we told you yesterday. We knew what they wanted. They want those 4 battalions in Rafa, and the United States has told Netanyahu and his freaking right-wing war cabinet, don't do it. Don't go in there. You got 1.4 million people sheltering there because you told them to go there, and this would be, you know, like a massacre. A massacre. And then, well, we want the job done. We want to finish it. They, well, you know, why don't you make peace? Why don't you do that? Why don't you just actually start sparing people's lives and negotiate your way into getting rid of Hamas? Why don't you negotiate your way into some sort of a calm? Okay, this is what they're calling it, not even a ceasefire, but some sort of a sustained calmness, okay? And then they are proposing, and by them I mean our government, the Egyptians, the Qataris, the Saudis, believe it or not, are proposing that all these governments that I just mentioned have some sort of a joint caretaking ability in Gaza. Because no one knows. Listen, the thing with Israel has not ever said what they want to have happen when they're done. What do they want to have happen? Like, what should be left there when they're done? All they'll say is, no Hamas. Okay, well, what is left there? There's nothing, really. I mean, there's housing is gone, hospitals are gone, schools are gone. You know, well, what is left? I don't know. Let them rebuild. I mean, and so that's why they're talking about, like, a joint operation with Arab countries, and, you know, probably we could rope in the UK, you know, and stuff like this. But, I mean, honestly, it's so bizarre because neither side wants this to end. Neither side. Why don't the Israelis want it to end? Because, again, Netanyahu will be removed. He will have a new election after this is all over, and he will lose. The right-wing Likud party will lose. He will also have to have face a board of inquiry that is going to ask what the hell took 12 hours to get the IDF to help these people in the kibbutzim when the terrorist attack was going on 12 hours. We thought it was pretty grotesque that airplanes were able to make U-turns in some of the most secure airspace over the United States, known as Washington, D.C., New York City, 4 hours, planes were just making U-turns, looking like they were going, cross country. But then, I don't know. No, we're turning around and we're going to crash into over here. We're crashing into this bill. And then, looks like we're going to the West Coast because we got a full tank of gas to go, right? No, we're making a U-turn, we're going to that building. And we thought 4 hours was a really long time. Can you imagine 12 hours in a tiny little place like Israel? Tiny, teeny, tiny little place to get any help to these people? That this attack went on for 12 freaking hours. See, that's the thing. Nobody wants to talk about the attack because it takes the purity of the protest away. They like to put blood on their hands. Well, your hands aren't clean under that, fake blood either. There's plenty of blood to go around. But neither side wants this to end. Neither side. Everybody's playing for leverage here. Everybody. It's crazy. But the United States is doing everything the United States can do. Everything. From halting the 2,000-pound bombs from going over there last week. Quietly. Biden is still being accused of aiding and abetting. You know what I'd like to see the students do? The divestment people, the ones that march around, say divest, we will not rest, whatever it is. Yeah, stop using Google, you guys, and stop ordering things off Amazon. Don't you know why? Don't they know why? I mean, they're Ivy League students. Of course they know why I'm saying this. They know, right? Yeah, because Google and Amazon have given the Nimbus project, which is cloud computing, like a $2 billion contract they have with Israel to do cloud computing. And I don't know if you saw the story about, how the cloud, they could find people with AI in Israel that even, lived with Hamas, that lived next door to Hamas, that may have worked with Hamas, that may have been police officers that reported to Hamas, right? And they target them with artificial intelligence supplied by your favorite Amazon company. Those little, smiley faces. I think they're penises, but okay, whatever. What's the logo for Amazon supposed to be? It's a peen, right?
It's a smiley face.
It's a peen.
You got me. It's a peen for sure.
It is. It is. Steve in LA.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Just wanted to say I've been listening to you quite a bit, very compelled on your stuff on October 7th and beyond. I haven't agreed with every sentiment that you've had, but you've always presented it in a compelling, entertaining way that I'm always on the edge of my seat listening to. So I love it. I felt like you're a big sister to me over the years. And I love your stuff. When you said yesterday that Biden has stopped the offensive weapons going over there,
Yep.
I heard it from you for the first time, and I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, I don't hear it from anybody else. It's very interesting. I mean, there's a lot of hatred that's broadcast around, these parts, and I don't hear anybody saying praise to Biden for not sending 2,000-pound bombs over there.
I heard from you yesterday afternoon. I listened to the podcast, so I'm not quite on the same time as what you're doing live, but I heard it.
Yeah.
And then I also heard you talk about Cindy McCain. I saw her on 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
And, man, I'm so impressed by her. Cannot believe that she's Megan McCain's mom. That's a whole other story. That's a whole different deal. And you said the same thing. So anyhow, just wanted to say thank you for the reporting.
You're welcome.
On this stuff.
Thank you for letting me know that you're out there. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you.
You got it.
Okay, so Cindy McCain, here's what Cindy McCain said. Now, I heard a piece of this, but it was edited, say. And what her sentiment was, Cindy McCain, who runs the World Food Program, is that wherever there's war, there's famine, right?
Whenever you have conflict like this and emotions rage high and things happen in a war, famine happens. And so what I can explain to you is that there is famine, full-blown famine in the north, and it's moving its way south. And so with what we're asking for and what we continually ask for is a ceasefire.
Yay.
And the ability to have unfettered access to get in, safe and unfettered access to get into into Gaza, at various ports and various gate crossings.
She's amazing. She truly is. Wherever there is conflict like this, there is famine. Now, that whole part has been cut out, and she's just been broadcast saying there's full-blown famine without context again. Now, I don't know how you're supposed to figure this out in a complex situation without context, so. You know, it's like that Buffalo Springfield song, nobody's right when everybody's wrong. Uh-huh. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.